Before this video starts, we need to know about the concept of prion diseases. Now, these diseases happen in the brain, and they are uncurable. And once you have one, your life is pretty much over. Now, the proteins in your brain become misfolded. These misfolded proteins are called prions, and these prions will tell the other healthy proteins to turn themselves into prions themselves, which leads to diseases such as dementia, mad cow disease, and other forms of Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. And since these diseases affect your brain, the prions will clog up neural networks and make your body forget how to do certain things, such as forgetting how to breathe. Thankfully, these diseases are extremely rare and are not contagious unlike other diseases. The only way to catch a prion disease from another person is to eat that other person, specifically their brain. Which brings us to today's topic. It all starts in Papua New Guinea. It is theorized that it started with members of the four people who discovered the remains of a man who died of this disease. And their way of holding a funeral wasn't by burying them, but rather cutting them up and eating them in order to honor them and free their souls. But then the people who ate the man eventually started showing symptoms of the disease. They started shaking uncontrollably, they started laughing, and then they were eventually immobilized, and then died a year later. And then the whole cycle continues due to the funeral rites that they were holding. This disease started around the early 50s and has a 100% fatality rate. It is estimated that around 3,000 people died of this disease, and it wouldn't stop until the funeral rites were banned in 1960. But eventually the deaths didn't stop until the last one in 2009. Since this is a prion disease, there's a gene called the PRNP gene, and this gene produces the prion protein PRP and involves the misfolding of the protein to the pathogenic PRPSC. And it isn't really inherited, but rather it's passed on to someone who decided to eat the infected human remains. Now, my recommendations to prevent this disease from getting to you is to not eat contaminated human meat, especially the brain. And you also shouldn't partake in any funeral rites that make you eat contaminated meat, or hang out with people that make you eat contaminated meat with them. Anyways, I made this little scenario here to show you how one could get this extremely rare disease today.